friends, I am Arunisha Sengupta. Welcome to Dharma Vibe. In today's episode of Jai Shri Ram series, I am speaking with Acharya Mohit Bharadwaj. Acharya Bharadwaj is one of the foremost people who are reviving Vedic studies in India. Shrauta rituals specifically in the northern parts of India. He is someone who has left his lucrative IT career and has made this passion his center of life. He was also one of those people who got the chance to do the Samhita Swahakara of Rigveda Shankhayana Shakha at the Ram Janmabhoomi temple. I thought that he was the right man for us to have this conversation with. And it was an opportune time for us to engage with him, loaded with amazing knowledge, so deep rooted, with a conversation with a person who is so young and yet so deeply rooted in Indian traditions, Indian value system, yet modern in his outlook and liberal in his thoughts. I really loved this conversation. I hope you all can too. Let's engage with Mohit Bharadwaj ji through this conversation. Namaste, Acharya Mohit ji.
Namaste, Arunisha ji. Namaste.
Welcome to Dharma Vibe, and we are doing this Jai Shri Ram series, Mohit ji. And this is as a lead up to the consecration ceremony, the Pran Pratishtha, which is happening on 22nd January. It is a momentous event for all of us. I wanted to have your take in terms of what's the feeling like over there at Sonipat and also with you personally.
Okay. Certainly, we can discuss a lot about that. Thank you for having me on your show. And as is the case with every practicing Hindu or even those who were not so practicing, but with this momentous occasion, sometimes in history, things happen which kind of awaken a lot inside you personally as well, and in the terms of society as whole. So this event is the biggest event, I would say, in the past several hundred years, which has reignited the Agni, as we can call it, inside all of us practicing Hindus, and like I said, even those not so practicing ones, because practice takes some effort, and due to the decline in momentum of the practicing part of Hinduism over the past few centuries again. So even that is now, as one can see, getting reignited. The first step towards that is taking Prabhu's Nama only. So, and that is happening now. So we can be very hopeful that this will grow into a bigger movement as time passes by. After a 50 years or 100 years, maybe people will be able to, I'm quite confident that this will be the case, that people will be able to look back and see this day as even a greater moment than what happened on 1947, 15th August 1947. I'm pretty certain that this is the much bigger victory than any other we have achieved in the past several hundred years. And that feeling you can see all around, speaking to common people and speaking to literally everyone, whether they be from any background of the society, rich or poor, or any caste or anything. So beyond that, this is a feeling which is transcending all those boundaries, which can be said to be dividing the Hindu society. But this is such an occasion, irrespective of the sampradaya, of the, like I said, social status or the caste or any other thing, or the region or the language we speak. So, like they say that in Ramayana also, and I think it is also the motto of the temple. As Valmiki in his Ramayana, he has mentioned this, that Ramo Vigraha Van Dharma, that Ram is the physical embodiment of Dharma. Vigraha is, as we all know, Vigraha is Murti or
Murti
the
or
sculpture.
embodiment.
Yes. So he equates Ram with the Dharma. So, and Dharma is what unites our nation. Dharma is what is common between all of us. Otherwise, like they say that in India, every few kilometers the languages change, the taste of the water changes, everything changes. But what is similar, what is the same element in all of us, which binds all of us, is dharma. And what is dharma? So dharma in his physical form is Rama. So this is Rama coming back. So you can, by extrapolation, it's not even extrapolation, it's quite obvious that you can say that Dharma is coming back. So this is what resurgence of the beginning of the resurgence of the Dharma will look like. So that's why I said that coming 50 or 100 years, later generations, they will be able to even better analyze in a even better way what this moment means than us who are actually living this.
Mujib, what is actually your role in the initial beginnings of the rituals? We will not talk too many things on the rituals. I will take a broad sense of it, as
Okay.
I had discussed earlier with you. But
Mm.
as one of the priests, or I had seen a couple of your tweets and some pictures of you who were a part of the initial rituals which was happening. If you could explain to us your role in it, and later give us a broad view as to what all is happening in the consecration.
Okay. See, all of Hindu religion, almost all of it, there might be some smaller exceptions, but even there is nothing in India which you can call, nothing in the world at least, which you can call Hindu or Dharmika, which would be anti-Veda. There is nothing like that. There may be things which are without Veda, but Veda is almost always our fundamental point of beginning, or the point where we all agree, or the highest authority, we could say.
Mm.
So by and large, that is true. So, like it is said in Shatapatha Brahmana, a text associated with the Shukla Yajurveda, Yasya Nishvasito hi Veda. That means Veda is the breath of Paramatma or Bhagavan, or however you may define him. So, Veda is like the breath of Parameshwara, of the God. So, with the coming back of Rama, with the resurgence of Dharma, with the re-establishment of the, in some ways, the greatest temple of Hindus. So, with that occasion coming, it is also very obvious and very much needed that the Vedic revival should also start and should also begin now. By Vedic revival, what I mean is that, especially in North India, because in Southern India, at least the basics are still there. But due to a variety of reasons, due to whatever happened over the last 1,000 or so years, there has been an unimaginable decline in the Vedic traditions in Northern India. So our hope is that, and the idea behind the rituals was also this, that along with the temple reconsecration, there should be an effort, and there should be this outcome, which we hope it will come, about the revival of the Vedic traditions in northern India, especially in this part, in the part where Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati also used to flow. So this is the region where historically you could say that first emergence of Vedika teachings happened, and people started to teach Vedas, learn Vedas, and practice all the associated rituals. This is from where all the Hinduism which we know now today, from the learned scholars to the person who does not know anything scripturally, just knows that, yeah, doing bhajan of Parameshwar is enough. Across the spectrum, everything originated from this region, that much is true, and spread out in the whole world. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, currently the situation is very bad. If I speak about myself, I was about 18 years old when I first got to listen to actual Vedic recitation. So until 18 years of age, being even after being from a Brahmin family, I had not heard of a Saswara Veda Patha. So that's a terrible thing to happen, and we are hoping that as Ramlala is coming back, this thing will also be reversed. So in relation to this uh, earlier there were 1,131 Veda Shakhas. Now only 11 remain. 1,120 Shakhas are lost, probably forever. But yeah, they are lost.
Shakhas, just I will take
So
a
along
pause
with,
here. I'll take a pause. Shakhas means here are you mean the different schools of the Veda, which are you're talking about 1,121 shakhas?
Yeah,
or
1131 different.
1631, sorry.
Yeah, they are different schools, you could say. Recensions is the word generally used in English.
Mhm.
So each shakha is Ved in itself. If we say that there are 21 shakhas, there used to be 21 shakhas of Rig Veda, this does not mean that all the 21 shakhas have to combine to form the Rig Veda. This means that each shakha is Ved in itself, and it's a different expression by the different rishi.
Okay.
So theoretically speaking, at some point of time in future, or after the end of this Chatur Yuga cycle, or whatever point of time, there could be some rishi who might be expressing the knowledge contained in the Rig Veda in some different way. It's
Okay.
not completely different, but the differences are there. So that like there are these gharanas in classical Indian music.
Correct, correct.
So all of them are following the same sargam, but you can identify by listening to them that which gharana does this guy belong to. All of that music can give you the same happiness. It is not that particular gharana will give you a different kind of happiness or a different kind of raga it will be playing. Each raga can be played in any gharana, but still there is a difference in the practice and in the recitation of the mantras. In the ritual practice, there are differences. There are reasons for those differences. Sometimes there are historical reasons, sometimes it is the will of the rishi. There are different reasons, but that is how these systems developed. So each shakha is Veda in itself. So it was decided that before the consecration is done, before Ramlala comes back, all of those alive shakhas, the shakhas whose practitioners are alive today, they will be practitioners of each shakha will be invited at the temple, and they will be doing rituals, mostly Samhita Swahakara only. So those will be done. So that in a way, you see, when you invite someone or someone comes, or any small ritual is done, I'm talking in a social or in a family sense, not in a religious sense. Even there, the first thing which one does, which comes by itself, is speaking good things. That's how you show that you are happy. That's how you show that you are welcoming the person who is coming. That's the first thing. Then you may add on some rituals, cutting the cake or distributing some sweets or something like that. So in that sense, before Ramlala comes, all the Veda mantras, all whatever is available in the Vedic literature, that should be recited in his welcome. That was the idea behind these Samhita Swahakaras. So we also went there and we did the Rigveda Shankhana Samhita Swahakara. The story about Shankana Samhita is that there are no people who are teaching this Shakha right now, because like you might be aware that in 2013 we started the project for revival of this Rigveda Shakha. There were only two people who were about 77 years of age at that time. From them, we were able to rescue this Shakha, and fortunately, we are now teaching it. So we are hoping that along with this Rama Mandir revival, along with the coming back of Ramlala, the actual Vedic traditions, core Vedic traditions, they will also come back to this land of Ganga Yamuna Saraswati.
So there is a lot of the audience of Dharma Vibe is a English educated English speaking people. To them, how would you explain in very layman's terms the Rigveda Sankhya Samhita Swahakara? What would you say to them, explain to them in a few words what it means?
Okay, see, it is our belief. I mean, I'm assuming that we are speaking to a Dharmic audience only. So it is our belief that when we do a ritual, when we say a prayer, or when we offer anything into Agni or into, there are rituals where offerings are made into water or on land also. Those are also
The
there.
Pitri Tarmanas
It
and
just,
all of that. Yeah, the Tarpanas,
yeah,
Tarpana method and all. Yeah, yeah.
others are also there, even without Tarpana. There are a lot of rituals, just that for some reason, uh, to use a very crude example, uh, when you put something into fire, it looks kind of fascinating. And land and water rituals are not so fascinating to, uh, optically
That's
speaking. Optically speaking,
a nice way to put it, actually.
to,
Yeah. Yeah.
so people just assume or imagine. Generally, it happens. So, not a bad thing, just that it happens like that. So, in this Samhita Swahakara, as the name suggests, Swahakara means doing Swaha.
Doing Swaha. Yeah.
So, Yeah, we believe that when we chant a mantra, the devata related to that particular mantra, we are offering our oblation to that devata. And in return, that devata will be pleased with us and will bless us with whatever he can bless us with. So, for example, there are about 10,552 mantras in the Rig Veda. There are a few extra mantras in the Shankana Samhita, about 30 odd extra. So, with each mantra, you offer oblation of ghee. There could be some other material also, but that depends on what you are asking for in return. So we made oblations of ghee after every mantra. You chant the mantra properly with the swaras and everything, and put the oblation, and with the swahakara, recite the tyaga. Tyaga vakya is like saying idam indraya idam mama. That means this is for Indra,
This
this
is
is
for
not
Indra,
mine.
not mine. Yeah.
Yeah, so the particular devata is invoked in the mantra as well and with the tyaga as well. And this process is repeated for each mantra, hoping that the devatas will be pleased with us. This is the basic idea behind the Samhita Swahakara.
Okay.
Along with that, uh, every rishi who first taught those mantras to the common people, the rishi's name is also remembered. The chanda and the devata, everything is remembered. And in this way, this process continues until the ceremony is completed. So this is being done now. It is complete. This was being done for each Veda Shakha live, the 11 of them.
So, how many days it must have taken? It was this like over a period of few days that it happened?
Yes, it took us 5 days, less than 5 days, but approximately 5 days to complete it.
Okay.
It would start early in the morning before sunrise and would continue even after sunset.
Okay. Means for a long period of time within a day. So it was happening like that. And
Yes.
what would you give and allow us a certain perspective in terms of the broad sense that you can give in terms of the rituals that would happen, in this Pran Pratishtha ceremony? A very broad sense, if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, I will give you some idea. Uh, this ritual, the Shakha Samhita Swahakara, this is not generally a part of, I mean, every ritual, you can take any ritual, Grihya Karma, Shrauta Karma, any tantric ritual or anything you can take. And there are always certain parts of the ritual which are absolutely necessary or without which the ritual would be deemed incomplete. And then there are parts of the ritual which may be added by the scholars as per their understanding and as per their understanding of what is required for this particular time and this particular situation. So some rituals are like without them the ceremony would be incomplete, and some rituals are added because the scholars thought that they should be added. So this is without disturbing the core part of the actual rituals. So for example, if you take an example of a marriage, so Saptapadi, etc., these all things are central to the marriage. There are rituals before marriage done, like Mehendi, you could say, or like in Hindi, they say Kod Bharai or engagement ceremony and all these things. These are also part of the marriage ritual only, but even if you don't do these things, the marriage would not be incomplete.
It's not
So,
essential to it.
yeah. So similarly, there are some post-marriage rituals as well, which even if not done, the marriage would not be incomplete. But doing all these things makes it a more happier situation. People enjoy a bit more, and the chances of success of the actual ritual also increase with all the positivity and all the good wishes emanating out of the people taking part in the rituals. So this Samhita Swahakar was like the additional rituals, and it was very nice of the trustees to have agreed to these rituals. There were earlier plan for Ishti, etc., the Shrauta sacrifices also as well, but due to time considerations, it was not done. Maybe it will be done in future. As to the actual consecration ceremony, first of all, in any Hindu ritual, Prayashchitta is always a necessary thing because as a human, you cannot avoid doing any papa. Before the start of any ritual in our Hindu religion, Prayashchitta is always done for the papas which the Yajamana and the other people taking part in the ritual might have incurred on themselves for a variety of reasons. There could be they could be done knowingly or unknowingly, and sometimes we are just helpless.
Mm.
So the first step is to do prayashchitta, so
Mm.
that one becomes eligible, and this might not sound politically correct, but one becomes pure enough to perform that ritual, internal and external purity. So for those purposes, prayashchitta is initiated, and after doing prayashchitta, Nandi, Shraddha, etc., all those regular rituals, Matrika, Pujana, all those things are done for the Yajamana to achieve eligibility to be performing that actual ritual, which is done after a few days. So the schedule for this consecration ceremony is like that. On 16th January, they will be performing the prayashchitta, etc., for the
Today,
Yajamana.
today that is.
Mm, yeah,
16.
today. That
Ah,
is today. That is today. Correct. So, as everyone is aware, that scholars from Kashi of different regions and different sampradayas are coming to hold these ceremonies. And after that, the next day, that is tomorrow, the murti which has been selected, which I hear is by Sri Arun Yogiraj. So that murti, which will be the Achala murti, which will be staying in the temple only. There
so
are
the earlier Murti, there
uh,
was a Ramlala Murti which was there earlier, right?
Yes, yes, that is correct.
Ah.
So, from what I know, and if I don't know it wrong, then when this structure was demolished, and even before that, I think in the 49 or something, when all that episode happened, that worshipping started and all that. So, during that time, the Kashi Raja, his mother's personal Ramlala murtis were put in there, because the
Okay.
murtis were what they were not there. They were lost when the temple was destroyed
Okay. 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 Okay.
a few centuries back. So the people who initiated all those processes, because the our country is in some ways it is not very supportive of Hindu practices. So it was all done in a hush hush and in a very speedily manner. So the Kashi Raja's mother's murti was brought there, the Ramlala murti. It was placed
That
there.
was it. Okay.
N- yeah. So for all these years, that murti has been in worship, and not Kashi Raja. I think Ayodhya's Raja, a uh,
Local king.
local king. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think that is that. I confused it with Kashi Raja. Sorry. So the new murti which has been now selected, that would be bought inside the premises of the temple,
That will
and
happen on 17th January.
that will happen
That is,
tomorrow.
okay.
Yeah. Uh, so there are in any temple, in any Hindu temple, generally there are two types of murtis, the Chalamurti and the Achalamurti. As the names suggest, Chalamurti means the murti which can travel. So during Utsava Darshana and during other rituals, and there are sometimes such kind of rituals where you have to take the Lord for a bath or something for other ritual for which he must leave the temple premises, which is not possible for the murti which is supposed to be there always, the Achalamurti. You cannot take it around, and mostly it is sometimes it is uh, big also. So that is one reason. And apart from that, there is a ritualistic reason of not taking the murti out of Garbhagriha, yeah, ever. So there are two types of murtis, the Utsava Murti or the Achala Murti. So the murti which is currently being worshipped, the small Ramlala murtis, which photos you must have seen all over the internet, that would be consecrated as the Achala Murti. That would be taken out during Utsavas and Shobha Yatras and all those kinds of events. And
You mean
during
the
these events, the
Chalamurti?
crowd
They
is,
will be traveling. Those murtis will be traveling
yeah,
murtis.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the Achala Murti, yes, yes.
Huh.
So sometimes the crowd is too much that, especially during festivals, that not everyone can go inside the Garbhagriha and have darshan. So
Correct. So they will
people
take
want
the
to
darshan of
have,
the Utsav murtis.
yeah, yeah. People want to have darshan at a particular time or at a particular muhurta, and there are thousands or lakhs of people, so everyone cannot enter the Garbhagriha. There is not enough time. So generally, what is done is that an Achala Murti, Chala Murti is taken,
Got
and it is taken around the temple premises or whatever route has been decided, so bhaktas can have the darshan. So tomorrow, the the Achalamurti that would be brought inside the premises, and day after tomorrow, Tirtha Pujana and Jalayatra, Kalash, etc., which are taken, you must have seen before any kind of consecration ceremony of any temple, especially with the wife of Yajamana. They take kalasha with the tirth jal in it, and they put it on their heads, and procession is taken. So that would happen 2 days from now. And also on the same day, the murti which is to be consecrated, it is in a way put in a container or a vessel, and that vessel is filled with particular items, and the murti stays with those items, and then some rituals are done, some recitations are done. So on 18th it would be the gandhadhivasa. So and the next day it would be the aushadhadhivasa. That means putting the murti with the aushadhis. Aushadhis does not mean medicines, which is generally understood in Hindi.
Certain herbs, etc. Then in that case.
Yeah, certain herbs, etc. Then Kesaradhivasa, that is kesar is saffron. Then Ghritadhivasa, putting it in a vessel of ghee. So for a murti to be consecrated, the minimum requirement is to be three types of adhivasa, three types of padarthas are kept. Murti is kept in three types of padarthas. But in this case, we are having maybe seven or more than that. I think more than that kind of adhivasa are being done. So the people who are doing this are trying their best to do whatever is possible to the maximum extent. Then the day next to it on 19th, that would be a Dhanya Adhivasa day. That means putting the murti with the Dhanya, these wheat and barley and rice and those kinds of things. Then it would be on 20th, it would be Sharkara Adhivasa and Phala Adhivasa. Phala is fruits and Sharkara is not exactly sugar, but you can call it sugar for now.
Sweet.
On yeah, some sweet things, you can say that. And same day Pushpadhivasa will also be done. That means putting it with flowers. And after that Madhyadivas, and that same day 21st evening Shayyadhivasa will also be done. Shayya is as we know that bed. So all those things will be done. And on the 21st, at the time of Muhurta, there is 84 seconds Muhurta. So for astrological and astronomical reasons, there are not many great muhurtas during the current year, and so there is this 84-second muhurta on the afternoon, about after 12 p.m. I think 12:20, 12:30 p.m. that kind of time. So during that time, uh, this consecration rituals will reach their peak, and during that time, one would say that the murti has been consecrated. So that all will be overseen by about 121 scholars from mostly from Varanasi, but from all over India. Even in Varanasi, people are from all over India only. So this is the this is a broad overview of what is going to happen.
And then the rest of the temple construction, the way it is happening, that will happen. But will it be open to the crowd then?
Yes, it will be open to the crowd. It will be open to the crowd from 22nd only, but in a limited manner, with limited numbers because of the construction and security reasons. Because even in December and even today, there are machines and cranes, and 5,000 laborers are working in 8-hour shifts, 24 hours a day. So with all those construction going on, public cannot be allowed freely to enter and travel all around. So a limited number of people will be allowed every day. Even until today, you can have darshan from about 7 or 8 a.m. to 6 or 7 p.m. in the evening. So that kind of thing will be allowed. That will continue to happen. Alongside, the construction will also continue to progress. It would take at least 3 years or at least 2.5 years for the whole construction. Yes, certainly. Because currently only the Garbhagriha is being completed, and there are 2 floors also to be built over that, and then the whole area is 70 acres. And currently the construction is focused only on the temple part. The works are going on in the city also. That is a different thing. But if we speak for the temple, then only the core actual temple is being worked upon as of now. And you have approximately 70 acres more to work upon. Although all of that will not have such huge structures, but still 70 acres is a lot. So it will take
70
at
acres is
least
a
two and a
part
half
of the
years.
temple premises, or will it be a part of the
Yeah,
city?
yeah, temple premises.
Temple
No,
premises.
no, temple premises. Temple premises
It is
only,
very huge.
which is very huge. That all was already with the Hindus only. The disputed structure was very small in size. So for that reason, the construction was
Had
taking
stopped.
so long.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Got it, got it. When you were there, I mean, this was the Swakara
First week of December.
ritual,
Yeah.
first week of
Mm.
December. What was the mood like that you saw? Amongst, I'm talking about people, because you were there, maybe scholarly people from your peer group would also be there. What was the overall, I understand, people, the common people who are devoted to Rama getting the feeling, but in terms within the scholars also, what is the mood like? Jubilation, happiness, a sense of satisfaction? What exactly would you describe it as?
Yeah, certainly people are extremely happy. And like I said earlier, even if they are scholars or even if they are only ordinary people who are illiterate, don't even know how to write their names, everyone is extremely happy and extremely excited. Only their perspectives are different. So, as I was saying, only their perspective of uh, looking at the event, they are a bit different. Like I said, that I am always trying to relate this event as the first step in the actual revival of the Vedic tradition in North India. That is my perspective. A common person is happy just that Ram Lalla, who was out of his house for so many
So many
centuries,
centuries.
and then in a tent structure for the past few decades, he's finally getting his own palace back.
Understood.
So, so that is a very emotional event, even for the scholars or anyone. So anyone who you do not need to be. That is also a good part about our dharma, that you do not need to be what can I say, a very sincere ritualist to be able to be connect with Parameshwara. You can be a simple person who just minds his own business and remembers the God and does his duties, what we can call also as the uh, Parivara Dharma or Samajika Dharma. If you are fulfilling that also and you just remember Parameshwara at random times in your life, that much is enough to have a good life, a decent life. So, so everyone is extremely excited, and even during the time when I was here, I was there for 7 days, 8 days approx. Before that, I was there in 2019. Summer of 2019, I was also in Ayodhya, and I had kind of placed in my mind that I will never go to the Rama temple. I mean, Rama temple, by Rama temple, I mean the when Ram was in tent. I did not want to go there because I would feel very sad. So I never went there. But in 2019, due to peer pressure, I had to go. So I felt very bad, and the mood. I mean, people were coming there. That is true. There were hundreds and thousands of people, but it was very obvious. Even a blind person could see that all the people were sad. Generally, the mood in temples and the mood when you visit any place of worship, especially with Hindus, you would see people chanting and giving slogans. Those kinds of things happen. But there, people were very sad. I tried to give a few slogans, but the public did not support. And people were sad. They were just sad. They were obviously. It was not the case that they were sent there forcibly by someone or they did not want to be there, but they were sad that their God is living like this, lying like that, just like someone who's been thrown out of his home. That's a sorry image. So people, instead of feeling great positivity, they were just saddened. And during this visit in the last month, so this time I was happy to visit him even in the tent because I knew that he would be getting his home back very soon. So the general public is very, very excited. So people are extremely happy because another thing is that people who actually fought for the temple, a great number of them are still surviving. So you can imagine a person of 15 years, 20 years, or 30 years, or even 50, 60 years of age at the time of 1990, 1992, during the Karaseva period. So those people, they did not have any logic to believe that they will succeed. So it was just their Shraddha. Even if we are going, I mean, our demands were justified. We were on the right side. All that thing is aside, but we did not have power. It was not exactly in our capability to bring the temple back. But we just had the Shraddha that we will do whatever we can. Even if we are going to fail, we will give it a try. And then rest it is Hari Ichha that we may succeed or we may not succeed. So people gave their all, and those people who were young at that time are still alive today. So the feeling that they were a part of all this, obviously a minuscule part only, but even that minuscule part to get to be that minuscule part. So that is something which cannot be expressed. Even, I mean, even if someone tries to express, they can just, I mean, the tears will just flow out of their eyes, and nothing else can be done about it.
Mhm.
So that's a very fulfilling, a very emotional event for everyone, especially for those who took part, risk their lives, risk their families' well-being, risk their own well-being, and then still went ahead just because they believed, and now it is actually happening. I mean, the mood in the nation, even a day before the court order came,
Mm.
so people were not very hopeful because of the way the things are in our country for a variety of reasons. That's a different topic altogether. But people were not very hopeful. I was not very hopeful that it will happen via court order. I did not know how it will happen. It was a belief that it will happen, but I did not have any logic, and like me, most other Hindus, scholars or the common people, they did not have any logic. If you were to argue with someone that how can it happen, people did not have any explanation, but it still happened. It's like a magical thing. So that feeling is something which cannot be explained. You just have to feel it. If once you go there, especially during these days, and I think even after the consecration is done for a long, long uh, time period to come, it will just immerse in you. You will just feel it. You cannot very much explain it, but you'll just feel it once you go there. So even when we were going there, I'll give you an anecdote. 5 days were not enough to do the Samhita Swahakara of the Rigveda, Shankha and Shakha. So I was thinking that what should I do? And due to time schedules and all those reasons, the number of days could not be extended. So I went there, and before going there, I was thinking that we'll do a simple parayana. That is relatively much easier to do. So even that would have been a stretch. But once I reached there, once I put my foot inside the premises, it came into my mind that let it be. However, I mean, even if I have to work for 15, 16 hours, I'll do it. I'll finish it in 5 days only. So so I did that, and we are very happy that we were able to successfully complete it. But the point I'm making is that the place, it gets immersed in you. If you have been, if you have taken Parameshwar as Bhagavan's name even once in your life with some Shraddha, you will automatically catch the vibes, like the name of your channel, Dharma Vibes. So the vibrations are extremely strong there,
Yeah.
and we did it. I mean, we had to sit there for 15 hours approximately for 4 days, and then 12 hours approximately on the last day, but we completed the ritual. So that kind of feeling, that would motivate you. And the most important thing about this event is that mostly everything in life goes in a constant fashion. There is not much change, like the first law of Newton, that until and unless there is some external force, there would be no change. People who are at whatever their mental level after the age of 20 or 25, they mostly remain the same during their remainder of their lives. So that is true socially, emotionally, intellectually, mostly in every sense that is true, unless there is some inflection event in the life of people. So individual inflection events happen, people change, that sometimes happens. But this is something which is happening at a huge, huge scale, motivating and driving millions and millions of people into one direction. So another thing is that uh, truth be told, we have been losing a lot of things during the past few centuries, socially and worldly speaking. The Hindu Samaj has been on the losing side. Even the victories which we got, they were at a terrible cost, and sometimes they were Pyrrhic victories, sometimes they were not good enough. But this I would say that this is a pure victory. This is a pure victory after a long, long period of time. So. Uh, most of the people, I'm saying that nobody wants to be on the losing side. So even if, uh, to take the example of a family, uh, certainly parents love their children, but it is not the case that even if the children are failing, parents would be unaffected by their failures. So that always happens. Parents want their children to be happy and they also want them to be successful. So, in the similar way, people who even during the worst times, this is a pretty good time for Hindu Samaj compared to what has happened over the past millennia. So, even during the bad times, people who were devout dharmic, they were also not so confident about their Hindu identity. Even before this news about the temple judgment came, even before 2014, when pro-Hindu government got elected. So even before these times, people were not so assertive. The Hindu Samaj was not so assertive about its Hindu identity. So, but now with the confidence of this victory and the confidence of the Lord coming back to his home, people are now much more confident. People are now much more assertive, and this will lead on to other bigger things. So to take another example, there was this time in the late 90s when Gulshan Kumar was murdered. It's a different analogy, but I think there is stark similarity. There
Gulshan
used
Kumar,
to
the
be a
founder of T series.
yes, correct, correct. So he was a devout person, and he used to promote a great number of bhajans with the most senior and popular artists,
Correct.
and that was also in a way a strong revival of the bhakti movement with the help of technology. So the early 90s and the late 80s, Mahabharat, Rama, and then Chanakya, and then this Ram Janmabhoomi Andolan, and then this T series, their bhajan songs, etc. They were well made, they were good, and they were meaningful. So all that was happening. Then he got murdered, and all of this bhajan industry, you could say, it kind
It's
of
almost stopped,
went.
actually.
Yes, yes. But with this Rama temple ceremony coming closer, you would have noticed a great number of good songs coming.
And many,
So,
many artists have also spawned in the sense that they were not
yes,
too well known, but
mm,
but the songs that they are singing, each one, each new unique compositions which are happening, they certainly
yes,
they have also become very popular, and there are many people who are consuming this music.
mm,
Also, I got to know that even Gita Press was out of Ramcharitmanas copies,
mm,
and they had to do a huge
yes.
amount of print running in the nights for all of this. So suddenly there is a resurgence, of course. But how do you sustain this resurgence, Mohit Ji?
See, the problem with doing something good or running fast is that you have to keep doing it. Otherwise, if you slow down for whatever reason, a kind of demotivation steps in.
Correct.
So the only way to sustain this is to keep doing at least this good or to do better.
Hmm.
And it is not the case that we have done everything, we have achieved everything, and now it is an ideal Ram Rajya kind of state. That is far from this point of time.
Hmm.
So the only way to sustain it, the only way to sustain success with the success is that the hard work which you did to get that success, you have to continue that hard work. You have to even increase that hard work, because as you go harder, it is easy for a 30 scoring person to score 50, but it is almost impossible for a 95 scoring person to score 100. So you have to continue all the hard work which brought you here. And see, there is this mantra in Yajurveda, Agnina Agni Samidhyate. So fire only sustains fire. So this is, I mean, almost all things in life are cyclical. You fail, so you get demotivated. You are demotivated, therefore you continue failing. To break the cycle, you have to somehow find some force which helps you escape that. So, uh, to sustain all this momentum, there is a huge list of things which are to be done at the government level, at the activist level, at the common person level, things to be done in your personal life, in one's personal life, and things to be done socially. So the momentum which this ceremony is giving us, the inflection point, the jump it is providing us, we as a society and as individuals also should be very grateful that it is in our lives that this is happening, and therefore it is also a responsibility that this powerful option which we have been provided, we should be utilizing it to the maximum. As a person, you have to decide for yourself what is the best you can contribute. So, in what manner you can contribute? There are several aspects to a person's life. There is the social aspect, the family you have, the extended family you have, the friends you have, the education you have, the financial background you have. So, and the mental capabilities and the inclinations of the chitta one has. Some person might be more interested in serving the poor people. He's just happy that the poor people are getting their lives bettered with his work. Some person might be happy that he's able to contribute the less fortunate people in his extended families. That's also good enough. Some person might be happy that he is teaching people whatever he has learned about dharma in the sense of bhakti practices, in the sense of actual rituals, Vedic or otherwise. So and some person might be happy to contribute to the country, happy to contribute to his nation via the fields of science and technology or other intellectual fields in the modern streams. So you have to decide for yourself how you're going to contribute to this nation. In the Hindu school of thought, the nation and the dharma, they are not contradictory. They are not hierarchical even. So whatever we have, it is here only. The good or bad, it is here only. There are in the Abrahamic school of thought, this is a bad place. The world is a bad place by default. You have to escape it. In our school of thought, we often even say that even the devatas want to come to this loka. This is such a good place. That is our school of thought. We want moksha, that is a different thing, but this place is very good. We should continue to make it better. So even otherwise of the Rama temple thing, we should have, this is our duty as well, that we should continue to strive to do better and better for our coming generations. And that would only sustain, even increase whatever momentum we are getting from this occasion. You just have to keep doing whatever you have been doing in the direction of dharma. So what event will happen, how will it happen, that cannot be predicted. But if you are doing your part right, something will certainly happen and bigger things will happen. That is, I'm confident about.
So one is, of course, the political part of it. The other is the activists clan, okay, who are a bunch of activists who are coming from different walks of life. And there are scholarly activists like you, and then there would be the others who are there, who are doing it at the social level. But then there is also a lot of other people who are fence sitters and who are basically looking at the trend and going by the trend, kind of a thing. Now, there are two questions combined here, Mohitji. One is that what are those little steps that the fence sitters who are not able, who may not have the gumption to be an activist because they are running from pillar to post to make ends meet, and uh, basically the salary class people and the non-salary class people who are the who are lower middle class and lesser. That is one part of it. What are those little things that they could do in order to sustain this fire? And the second question that I wanted to ask is, when you say talk about Vedic revival, and
Mm.
this will probably uh, set the cornerstone for it,
Mm.
for the Vedic revival. What do you see? How, especially the northern India, will be benefited, and what are the things that can actually, which is there in the pipeline, which you probably know of?
Okay. See, first of all, what I think is that it is not the reason that people are busy with their daily lives, or they are running from pillar to post, or they are trying to make their ends meet, that they are not able to contribute more towards the society. I'm not saying that they are doing anything wrong. I'm just saying that this kind of goes in the direction that the activists are always well off, or they don't have financial responsibilities. So uh, it's been so many years I've been doing all these works, and even then I struggle for a lot of basic things for at an institution level, and even on a personal level. So it is just that sometimes you have this very strong urge to do something. So it does not matter what financial background one comes from, or what high targets one has set for oneself to achieve. So, what I mean to say is that it depends, all of it depends on how strongly you want to do what you are trying to promote, or you are saying. So, for example, if you would ask anyone, if the imagine that we are in the time before the Supreme Court judgment came, and if there was a need for another car seva, or some kind of mobilization was needed, suppose it was needed. So almost everyone, every practicing Hindu would have supported it, but not everyone would have gone. So I'm not saying that those who are not going, they are bad people or something like that.
Understood.
Somebody is the leader, some people are follower, and some people are supporters of the followers. Some people are able to provide only moral support for whatever reason. That's their life, that's their decision. So coming to the second point, what one can do, that like I earlier also mentioned, that you have to make the call for yourself what you can do. So I can advise on a from a ritualistic point of view, that these are the rituals you should try to follow as much as possible. This is the kind of achara which would be better for you as a person as well, and for the society as well. Society is formed from millions of people, lakhs of people, thousands of people. So uh, if a great number of them is following a particular achara, it is going to have a collective effect on the whole society. Even if it is a durachara or a sadachara, or extremely high sadachara, whatever kind of achara one is following, people are following in a society, that will certainly lead to bigger events. Bad or worse, that's a different thing. Bad or good, that's a different thing. But that will certainly, a vector sum of all these things will certainly occur. So uh, the limitation with a person is that it is only a person. He's a single person. If he is a good person amongst the bad people, then also he's going to suffer. And if he's a bad person amongst the good people, then also he's going to suffer. So numbers certainly matter. And along with numbers, the essence of dharmika acharan is, I think, it is consistency. Doing whatever you are doing continuously. It is not that once in a year you are doing 10-day vrata, and other 355 days you are the worst person on the planet. So it does not work like that. You have to be a good person morally as well, the accepted standards of morality from the dharmic perspective. And some rituals one must follow, because rituals help inculcate discipline, and discipline in thought as well, not only in action. It might seem like that it is it does not matter. I mean, someone, I don't remember the name of the scholar, some modern scholar, psychology or something, he said that these are the same mantras, and reciting them every day does not help me grow intellectually, because I'm saying the same thing again and again and again, and doing the same thing again and again. same practices again and again, this is not contributing. So that is a very easy trap to fall into, because like I said, the only thing which helps you move forward is to kind of trying to crack the next level, doing the same thing and same thing and same thing again. You would realize yourself when you have reached that level, but until you have reached that, it might seem to you that this is the same thing. It's not the same thing. You are just trying to like a stone takes 10 throws of a hammer to break, so you
What are
don't
those
know which
basic
throw
Vedic
it will break
acharas that
into.
a person can, inculcate in his life, his or her life, for a very common person?
If a very common person, the easiest thing is to do namajap of whatever Ishtadeva he believes in. At least once a year, one should go to the tirth of that deva, and the important festivals around that deity. So, for example, if you worship Krishna, so you should observe fast and upavas on Krishna Janmashtami. You should be, and in all Hindu sampradayas, Gomata is at the center. So serving the cows as much as you can. If you are earning well enough, then one should contribute financially to dharmika causes as one understands. So uh, I would say that it would be good if people were doing home, etc. also, but that requires certain training, and all people might not have that much time and inclination and resources to do this with the modern way of living. Because first of all of this requires space. Because to have shuchita, to have ritual purity, first thing you need is space. So in modern homes, there is no space. The real estate is too costly, so that becomes a bit tricky. And so even without the actual fire rituals or other kinds of rituals, there are many other rituals which one can do. So those should be practiced if one is able to spend times at the malls and at the movies and everything. If you can find time for that, you can certainly find time for half an hour every day to find out what rituals his or her sampradaya in which they are born. So it is see, in the Hindu tradition, it is not a very individualistic society. So it is not the case that it does not matter what my father did. He was a good person or a bad person. It does not matter to me. It does not work like that in our viewpoint. It matters what your father did, what your mother did, what your extended family did. If they are good people, then life in a karmic way of speaking, life would be easy on you. If they are bad people, then there might be some difficulties. So, if your parents are already into some worship according to some sampradaya, it would be better for you to follow the same. I'm not saying that you must have to follow the same, but it would be better. So, even if you feel very strongly for some other deva, for some other ishta devata, then maybe you should follow it. Ultimately, it's again your call only. You only understand that what you're feeling is an impulse or it's an actual thing that you can judge. That comes with viveka. Although it is also true that viveka comes with Parameshwara's anugraha only,
Mhm.
and that is earned via doing punya karmas only. So basic punya karma everyone knows. This it's not a very you don't need to be a very high intellectual to understand that you should not do things which are hurting to the people around you. You cannot hurt someone who is not around you. So it's a very basic sadachara, that not to cause trouble to people who are around you in any manner. But people do that all the time. So story begins from there only. It's not that your dharmika achara or your sadachara will begin when you bathe and you wear clean clothes and sit in the temple. The story starts at the very basic level, that you should not trouble your siblings or parents, or you should, at least you should not have the intent. People mostly, I mean, it's not a good thing to say, but most of the people are like that. They if they are thinking 100 things during the day, then 10 times they would be thinking how to tease the other person. Other times they would be also trying to make amends with the same people, but forced by their nature.
Hmm.
They would be doing things, or they would be doing things that they don't actually want to cause trouble to the other person, but because they will be getting something out of it, some physical or some other kind of satisfaction.
Hmm.
So they would be doing those things. That should not be done. So once you are a morally good person, moral from a dharmika point of view, then Parameshwar only will guide you. That is a given. It's very easy to seek Parameshwara's guidance, I would say.
Hmm.
That has been my experience as well, with myself and with others as well. But the first thing you have to be is to bring coherence into what you are thinking and speaking and doing. The three things should be in a straight line.
Hmm.
There should not be running randomly. You are thinking something else and then you are presenting it in some other way. It may not be a straightforward lie, but you are trying to make the other person think something else. Uh, these kinds of things are considered normal in our society today. That should not be the case. From here on, only the journey will start. So people should take a pledge or take something, some sankalpa from this event, that we have been so lucky that it is happening in our lifetime. And we would, as a dharmika person, we will improve and we will move. Rituals are very important. Even taking the doing the nama japa is also a ritual only. It's
Hmm.
not a very strict ritual, but it is a ritual only. So slowly one should move in the direction of rituals as well, because without the rituals there is no spiritual discipline in one's life. So
Correct.
you cannot sustain. You might be a good person today, and you might be thinking that I'm fulfilling all my duties. So, for example, I'm a man. I'm providing for my family. I'm not doing anything wrong, and I'm doing my job very sincerely. So I'm a good person. The story will not end here. You, like we discussed earlier, like you asked that what we should do to keep this momentum going. So similarly, even in the personal life also, if you are not improving, you will certainly be going on the negative side without realizing. You will not be able to realize until it has been a remarkable difference from your previous self. So
Correct.
you don't have any option apart from trying to continuously improve. If you are already a morally very good person, then you must move on to the ritualistic side. And all those high ideals, Jivana Mukta and etc., that will happen when it has to happen. You cannot demand it. Once you are in a position to command it, it will happen automatically. But one should be very careful about how one deals with people around oneself. So that's where the
And
story begins.
yeah, so because I have seen that this particular event, and even before that a bit, and now that, because everybody is talking about it and everybody is in a celebratory mode, there is especially from the world that I come in, it's a very deracinated society.
Hmm.
Okay, there's a clear divide as to the one who are the one who are the supporters, the one who are
Hmm.
the supporters, and the others who are the non-supporters. It's a big number,
Hmm.
I must say.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, while there is, of course, this Insta boom and all of that which has happened, which has got a lot of youngsters to become curious about this. But then there is this entire society or community of people, which is a very large number,
Hmm.
who are scared. Okay, who are scared of this sudden resurgence and the revival which is happening,
Hmm.
and they are good friends. They are probably good people, I mean,
Hmm.
but there is this huge divide which has also happened. Ram has actually broken the Hindu society into two: the practicing Hindus, and therefore the believers and the supporters, and those which are the deracinated minded
Hmm.
Hindus. They may not be atheists.
Hmm.
Okay, they must be participating in festivals and celebrations, all of that, but not this. Even
Yes,
that
that
is
is
also
also
there. Yeah, that is
yes.
also a very harsh truth, I must say. But yes, the more and more activism happens, the more and more, uh, you know we have also come a long way, I must say. The
mm,
assertion, the confidence, all of that has also come a long way. It was not
mm,
so. So I am hopeful. I am personally hopeful. The second question that I had asked you was about uh, the Vedic revival that you
mm,
and this would be the cornerstone, at least that you feel like for the north as well as the south. Perhaps south, you said at least the basics are there. What are those
mm,
things that you feel are in the pipeline? You are one of the you and a few like you are taking an active or playing an active role in it. So you are much closer to what you can see can happen.
mm. See, coming to all the points that you just spoke about, it is true that a good number of people, not in percentage terms, but in absolute terms, a good number of people are kind of trying to or wanting to distance themselves, Hindu people only, at least Hindus in names, and not actively opposed to Hindu Dharma. They are trying to distance themselves from this event. So that is
Yes.
also true. Uh, I think the reason is that the history of all this. I mean, like I said, that people don't want to be on the losing side. That is one thing. The other thing is that most people do not want any kind of conflict. So they would, I mean, there are in any family or in any friend group, there would be people who would be very eager to always get the matter settled and sorted. They are not interested in justice or the struggle of justice. I'm not saying they're bad people. They're certainly good people. I personally am friends with such people also who are of this tendency that just get the matter sorted out. We don't want any kind of fight. So one is that perspective. I'm still not counting the actively or deliberately anti-Hindu people. I'm just we can break down all people at this moment in our country who are Hindu by name at least into three parts. That first is the one who are very happy and very jubilant about all this and extremely excited and doing whatever they can to make the moment more glorious. Second part is the people who are actively anti Dharma or anti-Hindu. They are born into Hindu families, but they are, for whatever their reasons, they are anti all of this. And the third is those who just want things to be done peacefully. They don't want to risk their good life or whatever their life is. They don't want to risk it for anything at all. So those kind of people are also there, and even amongst those people, there is still a good number of people who are who are in a way you could say doubtful of what is happening. Doubtful in the sense that they might be expecting that someday. So luckily, this day has come into our lives. So a generation down, two generations down, the tables may change. Someday something bad may happen. The temple, it seems, was broken not once but twice earlier. So, like we know that Somnath temple was broken 10, 12, 15, I don't know how many times it was broken, but it was broken multiple times. So, this cycle may never end. So, that is also fear in their minds. There is no cure for that because I would say, very respectfully, I would say that that is just cowardice. We don't have that option. It may happen again. I'm not saying that it can certainly never happen again, but it is our duty to do our best to make sure that it does not happen again. We are not gods, we cannot say that it will never happen again, but we will be giving all what we have to make sure that it does not happen again. So whatever happens in spite of that or because of that, that would be the God's will. That's not in our hands. But we cannot be, what is the word? I think snowflake is the word. So
Mhm.
we cannot be like that. So coming to the second point, what all is in the pipeline and all those things. So because it is a very big event, every event has two aspects: a dharmic or ritualistic aspect and the social aspect. So, for example, we spoke of marriage earlier. So marriage is also a dharmic paksha is also there, the home and all those rituals. And the samajika paksha is also there, that people may be saying that this is a very good match and the food was very good, the arrangements were good. All that is a social aspect to it. So that also contributes to the success of any event.
Mm.
So this being a very big social event, uh, a lot of people have been taking active interest. People who are sincere about their daily puja and home or whatever they are doing at their home, even they are getting to know how a temple is consecrated, and the details of the rituals, in to some extent, even if a small extent, but to some extent they are available on the YouTube, they are available on Twitter and Facebook. So people are reading them. They might not understand all the jargon and all the difficult words, but something will certainly seep into their minds. So they will know that if you have to consecrate a temple. So the ritualistic decline has been painfully high in northern India. I have seen people getting married with Hanuman Chalisa, or people
Oh my God.
getting this
Okay.
the Antim Sanskara being done with some any kind of not Sanskrit mantra or any proper procedure, but whatever the senior people of the village felt like, they would randomly do anything at all, randomly do anything what they wanted to do. So that has been a steep decline in ritualism, in proper rituals, and it's always explained away if you try to interfere. So that's a sad thing. So uh, the thing about rituals, and which is also true about a lot of other disciplines in life, is that once you get the taste of it, once you get to know how it is done, then you will automatically be inclined to do it better the next time. Then you will start to understand the essence of it. Initially, you might, the inertia or whatever your previous samskaras are there, they might inhibit you from doing more of doing these rituals with more sincerity. But once you get into it, once due to whatever reason you are forced to take part in those, then so, for example, if you say 100 people are, for whatever reason, peer pressure, societal reason, fashion, or just because it is trending now, 100 people are taking part in the rituals or just very sincerely listening to them, at least 10 people would move ahead to the step two of finding out what all they can bring into their own lives, what all they can adopt for their personal lives. So I myself, I mean, it's been 15, 16 years since I started to actively learn some serious things. So during these 15 years, I have personally seen at least 30 to 35 people, 30 to 35 cases who were ignorant, but now they are very much serious about all those things, and they have progressed well in their ritualistic lives, in their personal lives. So those kinds of things happen, and this event is providing a platform for that.
Okay.
So, for example, when we went there and did all this Samhita Swahakar and all those rituals, so the two of my friends who were there for just because they are my friends, and they are not very practicing people, but they are Hindus only, and they are devoted. That is there. They
I'm
are just
glad
not
to
into
know that you
ritualism.
have. I'm glad to know that you have these kind of friends also.
I have a very normal background only, so
Okay.
so they went there, and they did not understand a word of what I uttered. They don't have any idea of the structure of Rig Veda, or the severity of the Shakha's current status, or anything. They do not understand anything at all. But just to be there for the 5 days, and they were not taking part in the ritual. They were just seeing me taking their phone calls and all those things. But it had such an impact on them that they are now starting doing things which I was otherwise also advising them to do, but they were not doing those things earlier.
They needed to
So
have an immersive experience with you.
yes,
Like,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, so this is the impact which rituals give you. So on the day, on 22nd of January, millions of people, mentally they will be united with the event. They will not be exactly present there, but mentally they will be, all of them will be there, and that is certainly going to provide an impetus, and helping the people who are feeling some static friction for years towards moving more deeply in the direction of dharma. So that movement will provide them with that. That would be what you can say, that an epochal event. Like I said earlier, no one wants to be part of a failure. So very few people will be with you in a personal sense, or with some ideas of dharma in the current context. So very few people will stick to them even when they are stating a defeat. But
Mhm.
public by and large is not like that. People by and large are not like that. Not everyone has such strong samskaras. It's not that they are bad people; they just don't have that samskar. Because samskar takes many janmas to be acquired,
Mm.
to be ingrained so deep. So this movement is going to make people, the Hindu society, believe that they can be victorious. And yato dharmastato jayah, we are reciting that for hundreds of years. Satyameva jayate, etc. A lot of lofty ideals we have been reciting for hundreds of years without such great results. Mostly the results were bad only. So now we can hope that this would be the start of the good results coming. So that would push a lot of people onto the side of, like we discussed earlier, being more assertive, more positive about their identity, not wanting to hide their identity or not wanting to be shy
Mm.
about it. You would see videos on Twitter
Mm.
of people wearing dhoti and going into public place, etc. It's not, dhoti was never a bad thing.
Correct.
So,
There are,
and
like for
lot.
example, in the corporate world,
Hmm.
people are wearing their tikas. They
Yes,
are,
yes, that's
yes,
also
yes,
there.
they are becoming, they are adopting. So this, of course, these are things which are happening. I was meaning mostly in terms of the Vedic way of life or shiksha, Vedic, all that. I'm sure there will be a revival once again, not just in North, but all over.
Yes, certainly, certainly. The difficulty, especially in North, is that since people do not know what they have lost, they are also not very actively involved into trying to reconsecrate whatever they have lost. So, for example, if I everything runs on money. If I try to explain to someone that we need donation or dana or your help to do such and such thing, so it's almost impossible to explain to a layman in North what actually we are doing, and
Hmm.
it's much easier to explain to people from South of India, irrespective of castes.
Correct, correct.
Difficult to explain to even Brahmins in North India, and no need to explain even to the Shudra or Ati Shudras in South India. Everyone has the basic idea,
Basic idea.
and
Yes.
they have the basic concept of the importance of whatever Vedic tradition holds. So, with this Ram temple ceremony, we are hoping that people will become more aware. See, you might have attended, because the biggest function which is remaining now, dharmic function in a person's life as of today, is marriage only. So you must have attended a lot of marriages, even in North India, in South India as well. So the people in northern India, like I said, that even I had not listened to any Vedic chant before I was 18 years of age. So when you sincerely listen to the Vedic mantras for the first time at whatever age, you they will get imbibed in your soul within. So that would happen on 22nd January. People will get to listen to the actual Vedic chants, even if for a short duration only. So they will have some kind of idea, some kind of imagination that, oh, this is the same thing which was done for the coming back of Rama. The distinct way of chanting mantras, Saswara chanting, I mean. So that itself would be a great differentiator. From there on, whatever rituals, other rituals will be done, like this ritual was done by us, and the mandapa puja and all those things which will be done after the consecration. So as and when people are going to visit Ramlala in the temple, these rituals are generally held where the public can also see whatever we are doing. The public was able to see, and people would visit us as well, worship. They will prostrate before the yajna mandap, and they will go.
Mhm.
So they are seeing that this is the temple and this is some ritual which is being done in a particular manner, in a relatively strange manner, which they have not seen earlier. So, like I said, that there were talks of doing Ishti also, the Shrauta Yajnas, the Yajnas which are mentioned in the Vedas, which is practically extinct from North India and not so prevalent in South India as well, but still there is a lot of, compared to North, there is a lot there. So people hopefully will get a chance to see those things, and they would slowly realize that this is the glorious past which we speak about. This is our actual tradition, and then they, once they, at least they will be aware that this is the thing, then they will come in support as well, and then organically things will happen.
I'm
So
sure it
that is
will.
our hope.
I'm sure it will. Mohitji, I'm really enjoying this conversation. On a closing note, I wanted to ask you one question, which just came after speaking to you now.
Hmm.
Uh, you being a Vedachar, okay? So I mean a
Hmm.
Vedic person who is integrated Vedas in his life. Veda
Hmm.
is that way uh, very cerebral,
Hmm.
and here is a Puranic god who is more,
Hmm.
relatable with the heart. Okay. Now, on one hand, is this the very
Hmm.
cerebral kind of nature of the Vedas, and they had, I mean, and Vedas had a set of gods who are probably not worshipped much now in the real mainstream.
Hmm.
What we have are the Puranic versions of those gods, perhaps. Where do you see Ram fitting in?
See, as is the common knowledge, Ram is avatar of Vishnu. So the basic idea is that even Valmiki Ramayana, once you look at it, it's not as explicit about the connection between Vishnu and Rama as
Correct,
Ramcharitmanas or other relatively newer or more vernacular versions of Ramayana are.
correct, correct.
So the scholars who are learned in the Shastras and in Veda, etc., it is not difficult for them to make the connections. The problem is with people who don't have the time or inclination or the capability to make the connections, to understand that this person being talked about here is the same as this person at this point of time, and he is same as this person at this point of time, and all of these are one, and all those things. Those connections are difficult for the common person to make for a variety of reasons. I said that it may be a matter of capability, it may be a matter of he does not have time or does not have inclination, whatever may be the reason. So that's why in Dharma, different puja paddhatis are described for people in different stages of life, what is commonly also known as the Varnashrama Dharma. So, like it is said that a Brahmin, he must study the Veda and teach them. Only then he will get the phala, which is same as a Shudra who is doing basic namajap and doing his societal seva in the correct manner. You might have heard of that story where Rishi, not a Rishi, but a saint is doing tapasya, sitting under a tree, and a bird shits on him. And then he opens his eyes, and in anger, he looks at
The,
it, and the bird
correct, the bird
gets
dies away, huh?
the bird dies away, it gets burnt. So he becomes proud of his tapasya, and he goes to the village to ask for alms because now he has been awakened from his samadhi. He's feeling hungry. So he visits a number of people. So, for example, he visits a lady who is doing her household chores only, and it takes time for her to attend the call. And when she comes out, the saint who is excited about his powers, he tries to burn her away as well, but it does not affect her, and she replies that I am not the bird. Then he
Mm.
asks her, how do you know all this, and why was my tapasya ineffective on you? She says that she is doing her family duties very well. The point of the story, and there are other instances also, he goes to a dharma vyad and all those things. The point of the story being that whatever position you are in life, for whatever reasons, those were not in your control in this janma, but you are doing your part, you are doing your duty sincerely, then you will get the same result. So it is for the Brahmin to study and teach the Vedas to other deserving people, the Dvijas and others, and it is for the Kshatriya and Vaishya and Shudra and all of their duties, we know very well about them. So it is not necessary for everyone to be an active participant in the Vedic rituals or the Vedic revivalism. The reason for Vedic revivalism is not that it is for a Brahmin to necessary to for a Brahmin to get moksha. The reason is that all that secondary and tertiary and all that seed down knowledge, all that is rooted in the Veda only. So the image which we get from Bhakti texts of Rama being Vishnu as well, and Bhai Prakata Kripala and all those things, those are rooted ultimately in the Veda. By extension, in the Veda only. Tulasidas was also a scholar of Vedic texts as well. So Gyaneshwar was a scholar of Vedic texts as well. So, but they understood that the common people will not understand all these things, all these difficult
Deep
things. So they
philosophy.
provided, yeah, so they provided them with something which they could work with. So, and this is not a recent phenomena. This has been happening all the time. So there is a story in Nirukta by Yaskar. So he says that the early tradition was that the Veda mantra would be uttered and the students would understand them, like we are talking right now. So Vedic language was the spoken language. There was such a time. As time passed by, there was a number of people which was growing, and these were Brahmins only, as the story says, who were not able to understand the mantras any longer. Their fathers or their brothers are still understanding them, but these people are unable to understand what is being taught. So they go to the rishis and they tell them that we are unable to understand what you are saying. So the rishis say that, okay, we'll do this, that we'll make Vedangas.
Mm.
So that's how Vedangas were made,
Mhm.
which are easier compared to understanding Ved directly from the mantra itself without any explanation. That's how Brahmin literature and Upanishads and all those things were born.
Correct.
So, in the similar fashion, everything is here, you can see, trickling down from Veda only. So, as long as you have the Vedic traditions and Vedic rituals safe, you can always develop things required as per the times. So, imagine a time, and hypothetically speaking, imagine a time when most of the people of our society, they are intellectually more capable than they are now. At least we should try. That such a time may come, may not come, that's a different thing, but we should try to move in that direction. At that point of time, it's not the case that the texts are inferior, some texts are inferior to other. That's not the case, but each text is has been developed or was developed to serve a particular purpose. There may come a time when that purpose may no longer exist. That does not decrease the mahatmya of the text.
Mm.
There may come a time in a person's individual life when a
Mm.
particular text might not be useful any longer for that particular person. So
Mhm.
the text does not downgrade. Uh, we were all we were all sustained in our mother's bodies. We took our food from her. All that, we no longer need that. But that does not mean that that's a wasteful thing or that's a useless thing. Without that, we would not be here. So in
Got
the
it.
similar manner,
Mm.
uh, it depends on a person's individual journey and also depends on the journey of the society as a whole. What
Mhm.
is their mental level? So, for example, right now, one has to explain a lot of things which did not need any explanation to our mothers or fathers.
Mm.
And same was case with their generation as well. We have been degrading, that's a different thing, but not exactly in the form of a text, but the elders in families, they are having to adopt newer responsibilities of explaining Dharma in their own ways to their coming generations. So, yeah, even for Sadacharas, explanations are now needed to be given, which was understood very obvious only a short time back. Even as we grew up, even in our generation, 30 odd years ago, some things were very, I mean, taken for granted, which is no longer the
No
case.
longer the case.
So times change, but the root of everything, like Manu Maharaj says, Vedokhilam Dharma Moolam. So the root is Veda only. That's why you need to preserve the Veda and whatever is needed for the time. So to take a modern example, we cannot understand. I mean, we do not understand. Not that we cannot understand, but we do not understand how these semiconductor chips and all those things work. But we know how a mobile works, how a laptop works. We can operate them to our need, to fulfill our needs, but we cannot make them. We do not understand exactly how their internal workings are going on. There are some people, there is a group of people who understands all that and who is trying to make better things every day.
Mm.
So the knowledge flows from those people and it comes to us as an end user, helps us to meet our objectives with those tools. Same is the case here. You cannot say that the laptop has been made, so there is no need for R&D in science, and there is no need for scholars.
Understood.
So as the times change, you would need the base material needs to be preserved. Only then you can provide the new material as the time requires.
Fantastic. I really enjoyed this conversation. When are you going to
Yeah.
go back to Ayodhya again?
I don't know, maybe in March or April. I've been tied up here. This is an extremely cold weather. Like I said, that in 5 years I have not seen it, and we don't have a permanent or proper Goshala. Even the building in which we are living in is still under construction. I was there in December for about 8 days, and then including the journey days, it was more than 10 days. So I have to go again in February to a different place for a different ritual. So I cannot go this month as well. I mean, this is too hectic for me. There are not enough people to look after the Gurukul and Goshala once I leave. So maybe in March or April, not before that.
Okay. So I wish you well,
Thank you.
Mohitji, and thank you very much for this conversation. There are so many things, that are coming in terms of questions to me. I wanted to unravel each one of you, but I will require a lot of time with you. In fact, I will come personally and meet up with you, and we will have a session. Yeah, and but for this particular Jai Shri Ram series, I think you have given us enough information, and thank you so much for that.
Thank you for hosting it, and I look forward to meeting you in person whenever you have time. You may visit.
What an amazing conversation we had. It was deep, it was knowledgeable, yet Mohitji made it so pithy for us to understand. One of the key takeaways of this conversation was this event, not just socio-politically, not just psychologically, it is at a spiritual level also, it is going to bring such a sea change, a massive change. It is very pivotal to the progress, the spiritual progress of not just individuals but an entire race. And this is what has been reiterated from time to time throughout this conversation by Mohitji. He goes on to explain why. He goes on to explain how Vedic systems are so fundamental to our very existence, to the land, to the people of this land, and how this temple and the establishing of Ram Lala in this temple is marking a new era in the journey of this civilization. That was one of the few takeaways that I had. I'm also very happy that, personally very happy, that this will also be commemorating also the start of a Vedic thinking, Vedic studies, and more and more ritualistic patterns can start emerging in individuals' lives, though it may not be evident and obvious at this point of time, but another 50-100 years or so, this episode is going to mark or play a pivotal role in the how this race is going to evolve itself into. These were the few takeaways that I had. What are yours? Please write in the comment box below. Jai Shri Ram and Om Namah Shivaya.